So if you read the title of this video, you're probably thinking one of two things. Either one, you're super hyped that the prequel of Society is finally gonna be verified now, or you're probably thinking, I've never heard the Society prequel, what are you on about? And also, why is it just getting verified now if we're already seeing Society get verified? So yeah, this is the Escalator. It's a level that was hosted by Neo Marbalan, who, if you don't know, is the same person that hosted Society, because this is what Society is a sequel of. It just never actually got verified. Which means technically, I guess this isn't a prequel, but like, I don't really know what to call it then, because by the time it gets verified, it might release after Society, which in case would make it a prequel, but the official term is just the original level that Society's the sequel of. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. The Escalator, pretty much, it does the exact same thing that Society does. Obviously, Society built upon this, but this was the original work. It uses a song by the exact same artist that's in Society, and it was a really, really cool level when it released, and it still is now. Obviously, I think Society has a lot more color than this and just improves on it a bunch. But even with that, I think that the Escalator is still super cool. I really love this level. A lot of levels that try the unknown, black, like colorless, edgy style, they kind of fall off a bit in quality, because the problem is when you're working with no color, it's really hard to make something that looks interesting and keeps your attention. However, this level does it perfectly. Every single part in this feels unique, the structuring is really cool, the song fits the level perfectly, and every positive that you can say about Society is pretty much in this level, besides the colorful aspect. Obviously to a lesser degree, but I still think that this is really cool. Now, Neo Marbalan has showcased the Escalator a couple times, and it's kind of always been iffy what the difficulty of this level actually, like, is going to be, because at some points it was estimated to be a top 10 to 20, and then it was a top 5, and then it was an upcoming top 2, and then top 3. There's even an unreleased version of the Escalator that is top 1 today, potentially, if it was verified. However, yeah, this is unreleased, so no one even got this version. And a year ago, the player Teraaa actually was granted the rights to verify the Escalator, and back then, over a year ago, it was estimated to be a top 3. And 4 months ago, Teraaa actually showcased the update to the Escalator and announced that after they beat Avernus, they'll be actually going for the Escalator again. And what would you know, 18 hours ago, Teraaa posted an Avernus 100% completion as a new hardest. And I actually saw this video go live. I was live streaming when it released. And I kind of thought, oh, cool, an Avernus completion. That's pretty nice, and it's a new hardest. GG to them. However, I kind of forgot that Teraaa was verifying the Escalator, and this would happen after. So it's actually very intriguing to see this, because now that means that Teraaa is going to be going for the Escalator. As you can see, 3 months ago, Teraaa has 48 to 100 on it, and it was apparently top 10 at the time. And from what I can tell, this is the most recent video of the Escalator that's public that I can find that actually says what difficulty it could be. So we're probably looking at a top 10 level. I mean, that was 3 months ago, so by the time it gets verified, maybe we're looking at probably this being around top 15 on the list, because there's so many top ones getting verified right now. Now, Terra's hardest is Avernus, and since they already have 48 to 100, I don't expect this to take that long. Obviously, this will take a lot of time. However, I think that there won't be too much of a grind. This 48 to 100 run was after 30,000 attempts, which is a whole lot of attempts, but for a new hardest, that is actually not that much since it's over half the level. I don't actually know where the difficulty spikes in this level, but just the fact that over half the level only took 30k attempts tells me that I think Teraaa is going to progress on this pretty smoothly, hopefully. Now, something I'm very happy about is the fact that Society got buffed to be top 1. Now, if we're just looking at Society and not taking into account the Escalator, I really dislike that Society got buffed to top 1. I think the buffs that Popoff did really felt like he was just doing it to make it top 1, which is what he was doing. It felt like he was more pressured by the community to do it, and it felt like it was just kind of ruining a level that was going to be really cool. It still is. I'm still very much hyped for Society. I think it's one of the better upcoming top ones, but it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Like, yes, I think it's fair that this should be top 1 because it was an impossible level before, so when it gets verified, it should at least be top 1. I just think the events that led it to be top 1 are a bit disappointing. However, this is actually really good news for the Escalator because now that Society's top 1, I think that the Escalator doesn't have the pressure to be really hard. Since it's a sequel that improves on the Escalator in every way, I think that it means that Teraaa can just progress on this current version of the Escalator and not need to change it at all. And not need to worry if a bunch of other levels get verified, if it's going to place lower, and oh, we need to buff it to keep it at the placement on the demon list that it was meant to be. I think that it means the Escalator's got a lot less pressure, and I think that's a really good thing. Obviously, I'm not Neo Marbelan, I don't know what Neo wants for the levels, but I think that either way, this is going to be a nice verification for the Escalator, and I think finally we're gonna see it actually get hopefully verified and rated. What I find funny is the fact that we genuinely could just see Society get verified at the same time. Now, obviously, I know Pop-Off is progressing way faster, and if we look at the current rate of Pop-Off and how we can probably predict Teraaa to play, Pop-Off is going to beat it first. However, Society is top 1, you know, that is way harder than the Escalator, and so it means that maybe Popoff is going to hit a roadblock. Obviously, Popoff is very consistent playing now, but he has a history of not being too consistent a lot of the time when it comes to playing levels. But I don't know. Currently, it seems like he's gonna still be streaming this every couple of days. I do think the pop-up's gonna beat it first, but I just think it's cool that, you know, there is that slim chance that the Escalator and Society both get verified around similar times. Also, I feel like I didn't do it when I was talking about it, but I do just want to congratulate Teraaa on actually beating Avernus. Like, 99,000 attempts. You did it in sub 100k for a hardest that's Avernus. That's pretty impressive. And that's 9 months of playing on and off. That is a huge chunk of time. So genuinely congrats on that for actually getting through with that completion. Okay, actually something interesting I just found out. Teraaa actually beat Anathema, but I'm assuming that Teraaa thinks that Avernus is harder because Avernus is titled as a new hardest when Terraa's already beaten Anathema. So yeah, that just kind of proves that Teraaa is cracked and that Escalator shouldn't be too much of a challenge. Terraa's also beaten Acheron, which is around the same difficulty as Avernus, which again, both of them, according to the Demon List, are easier than Anathema. So yeah, that just consolidates the fact that maybe we can see Teraaa beat this at the same time that Popoff beat Society, even though I think it's probably highly unlikely. Okay, but actually, that's the video finished now. I don't really have much more to say. Thank you all for watching, and peace.